8:33 a.m. Welcome back. And well, of course, 8:33 a.m. South African time. We're now crossing over to Barcelona in Spain, and we're going to be talking with Muriel Boursie. She is Doctors Without Borders Deputy Manager of the Emergency Unit. And today we're talking to her about a very worrying situation, and that is the departure of Doctors Without Borders, or probably the bulk of the medical staff there, which they're going to be leaving the Madani Teaching Hospital because of the risk of the facility being attacked. And we also understand that the Wad Madani was previously controlled by the government-led Sudanese armed forces and was one of the largest, which is in one of the largest cities in Sudan. But it seems as if the situation is becoming quite untenable due to the paramilitary groups' rapid support forces, and causing at least 630,000 people to flee to other parts of Sudan. But of course, there is a huge impact on this particular facility. Let's hear what Doctors Without Borders have to say about this situation and the void it's going to leave regarding medical support for not only the people working there, but the inhabitants of the town. A very good morning to you, Muriel. Welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot for having me. Very good morning to all.
A very worrying situation, is it not? How long has this been going on, and why now has Doctors Without Borders decided that they have to leave this facility? And let's also talk about the implications of that move going to be on the people in that area.
Yes, so as you may know, the war in Sudan unfortunately has already been ongoing for 1 year now. As you rightly explained, Wad Madani is the capital of Al Jazeera state. It lies 136 kilometers southeast of Khartoum, and it was towards the end of 2023 a humanitarian hub when Khartoum fell to the rapid support forces, and it has always been also a breadbasket for the whole country. So in December, the rapid support forces took over the city, Wad Madani city. It hosted what we estimate to be 800,000 people. I mean, figures are quite difficult to have. At that moment, MSF evacuated its team already from the area, and a lot of the population fled further south. We were able, engaging with a different warring party, to resume operations and to return to Wad Madani in January only. And we've been working there over the past 3 months in quite difficult situations. So currently the town is under siege. It is surrounded by 3 active front lines. We estimate around still several hundreds of thousands of people living in the city, and they are literally trapped. This means all services are being disrupted, supplies are not entering, so this directly translates into food scarcity, fuel and basic goods scarcity, inflation, a lot, of course, of violence ongoing due to fighting and to presence of armed forces all around. And also the absence of most of the humanitarian actors. So over the past 3 months, we were literally the only international NGO on the ground, trying to support the Wad Madani Teaching Hospital, which was the only health facility functional in the whole Al Jazeera state.
Sure. We understand that MSF works and supports more than 30 health facilities in 9 states in Sudan. So you guys are pretty active and pretty busy. But despite that, despite your presence in the rest of Sudan, since January of this year, Sudanese authorities have also persistently denied travel permits to bring new staff and medical and logistical supplies into the city. And I presume that is Al Jazeera in Wad Madani. What are the implications of that and the implications of your other medical staff in the other the other 30 facilities throughout Sudan?
Yes, so when it comes to Wad Madani, as you can imagine, it's a very difficult situation for decision, sorry, for us to take to leave a place and a population without health care availability. But the situation was really becoming too complicated for our teams to maintain operationality on the ground. What happens is, of course, we engage with both warring party for our presence to be safe and possible. On the side of the government of Sudan, we have been over the past months constantly and repeatedly denied access, both for our staff meant to reinforce the medical team on the ground facing huge needs and trying to cope with the volume of patients that they were receiving within the facility, as well as denial of permits for our medical supply without which we cannot operate because we need them to treat patients. And then after on the ground, there has been a constant as well violation of the medical mission and of the neutrality of the health facility by the support forces on the ground. So this translates into looting, stealing of our cars, for instance, harassment or arrest, detention of our teams. It had become very challenging to operate in this environment, in addition to the ongoing insecurity due to the war. So yeah, we had to take the decision to leave. When it comes to the other 9 states, well, there are different realities depending on each of the different states where we are operating. But in any case, in the whole of Sudan at the moment, there are very few actors, and there really needs to be more actors on the ground to be able to respond to the huge needs. And there need to be an international engagement with the warring parties to allow for the safe supply of medical aid and the safe entrance of of humanitarian actors on the ground.
The situation sounds terribly untenable and very, very dangerous indeed. Pulling out of Wad Madani is going to have huge consequences for those people. How do you see, what is the worst case scenario as the Doctors Without Borders pull out or have already left because they had to leave because of their own safety, obviously?
Yes, so I mean, in a war situation and in like it is in Wad Madani, of course, the health system has completely collapsed. This means that there is no supply lines, no reliable energy source to maintain operations theaters from working. A lot of the medical staff from the Ministry of Health has fled the area. They are not being paid their salaries. So this means the whole health system is completely collapsed. And with our departure, of course, the only functional facility is now also probably going to be slowly dysfunctional. There are still Ministry of Health staff remaining in the facility, but of course, without international support and without the incentives, for instance, that we were providing to 240 Ministry of Health staff or the medical supply that we were bringing when we were allowed to, they are going to struggle to maintain the activities ongoing. And so it's a whole population that will be deprived of medical care. This means women trying to give birth that are unable to find a safe place to do so, children suffering malnutrition who are not being taken care of, also people with chronic diseases who need their regular treatment, who can't have access to it, and then of course the victims of the ongoing violence who might not be able to find the care they need after being injured or suffering the different types of violence. We have also victims of sexual violence, for instance, that we have been treating over the past 3 months. Well, they wouldn't have access to care at all anymore. So it's very worrying, and it really requires the attention of both warring parties. We would be willing to return, but under the condition that we are granted constant, permanent access, and also that the medical mission within the facility is respected at all times.
How hopeful are you that that might happen in the near future?
It's difficult to say. For the time being, we haven't received any guarantees from any side. They have been communicated, of course, about our exit, and they also we're concerned about it, but for the time being, we haven't received any guarantee that would allow us to return. So it's we really hope it will be coming, but for the time being, I cannot say it's a reality.
Well, let's hope and pray that it does, that common sense prevails and the authorities start engaging with MFS, and that the medical personnel are able to get back to the hospital, the teaching hospital in Wad Madani. Muriel, Boursie, thank you indeed for your input this morning. You are the Deputy Manager of the Emergency Unit of MSF. Thank you indeed. We pray that this is going to have a good outcome. It might take a little while, but I'm sure the actors in this situation, both warring sides, will realize the value that MSF brings to their regions, and hopefully will invite you back into Wad Madani, and also guarantee your safety. Thank you for talking with us, and keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And you. 8:46 News and Views on Salam Media. We're moving along, and our next guest is Dr. Faisal Suleiman from SAMNAT, and we are going to be highlighting one or two very important issues with him on the show this morning. So we do hope you become a part of the conversation.